Welcome to Rich Mind Narrations. Today, you are about to discover why most people stay broke and how a completely different way of thinking can change your financial future forever. Money is not just about working hard. Many people work hard every day and still struggle financially. They wake up early, spend long hours working, and yet at the end of the month, there is little left. This is not because effort is missing. It is because the strategy is wrong. From a young age, most people are taught a single path. Study hard, get a good job, work for many years, save a little money, and hope to retire someday. This path is often called the safe path. It sounds responsible. It sounds logical. But it is also the path that keeps millions of people stuck in financial limitation. The problem is not effort. The problem is direction. Imagine driving a car at full speed in the wrong direction. No matter how fast the car moves, it will never reach the desired destination. In the same way, working hard on the wrong financial path will never lead to true wealth. The slow path depends on time. It requires decades of effort. It trades time for money. Every hour worked produces income, but the moment work stops, income stops as well. This creates a cycle where life becomes dependent on constant effort just to survive. Now, consider a different approach. The fast path focuses on value, leverage, and systems. Instead of trading time directly for money, the goal becomes creating something that can generate income even when not actively working. This shift in thinking changes everything. Wealth is not created by working more hours. Wealth is created by increasing value. Value is the foundation of money. The more value created for others, the greater the potential reward. This value can come from solving problems, creating useful products, offering services, or building systems that improve people's lives. Most people focus on earning. Wealthy thinking focuses on building. Building something takes effort in the beginning. It requires learning, patience, and discipline. It may feel slow at first, but once something valuable is created, it can begin to produce results repeatedly. This is the difference between linear income and leveraged income. Linear income grows slowly because it depends on time. Leveraged income can grow faster because it is not limited by hours in a day. Another reason many people remain financially stuck is comfort. Comfort feels safe. Comfort avoids risk. Comfort avoids change. But comfort also limits growth. Growth requires stepping into uncertainty. It requires learning new skills, trying new approaches, and sometimes facing failure. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of the process. Every successful person has faced mistakes. Every strong financial journey includes lessons learned through experience. The difference is not the absence of failure. The difference is the willingness to continue. Fear also plays a powerful role. Fear of losing money. Fear of making mistakes. Fear of trying something new. These fears can stop progress before it even begins. But fear often exists because something is unfamiliar. The more something is learned and understood, the less fear it creates. Knowledge reduces fear. Action builds confidence. Another important concept is time awareness. Time is the most valuable resource. Money can be lost and earned again. Time cannot be recovered. Using time wisely is essential. Spending hours on activities that do not create growth keeps life in the same place. Investing time into learning, building, and improving creates movement toward a better future. Many people spend money to impress others. This creates a cycle where income is used for appearance instead of growth. Expensive items may create temporary satisfaction, but they often delay long-term progress. Real financial strength is not about appearance. It is about stability and control. It is about having options and the ability to make decisions without constant pressure. Discipline is the foundation of progress. Small disciplined actions, repeated daily, create powerful change. Learning a little each day, improving skills, and making thoughtful financial decisions build momentum over time. Momentum is powerful once progress begins. it becomes easier to continue. Small wins create confidence. Confidence encourages more action. Action produces more results. The journey to financial growth is not about quick success. It is about consistent improvement. Each step forward matters. Each lesson learned adds strength. The mindset must shift from survival to creation. Instead of focusing only on earning enough to get by, focus on building something that can grow over time. This shift opens new possibilities. Opportunities often appear when the mind is prepared to see them. A person focused on growth begins to notice ideas, patterns, and chances that others may overlook. Awareness increases, and with awareness comes possibility. Financial success is not reserved for a few. It is available to those willing to think differently, act consistently, and remain patient. The fast path is not easy, but it is powerful. It requires courage, discipline, and a willingness to grow. It requires letting go of old beliefs and building new ones. A new way of thinking leads to a new way of living. The journey begins with a decision. A decision to stop following a path that leads nowhere and start building a path that leads to freedom. Continue listening closely, because this next part will deepen your understanding of why most people remain stuck and how a shift in thinking can unlock a completely different financial future. Most people underestimate the power of direction. They focus on effort, but ignore where that effort is leading. Working harder on the wrong path only leads to faster frustration. The real advantage comes from choosing a path that multiplies effort instead of limiting it. Think about this carefully. If income depends only on time, there will always be a limit. There are only so many hours in a day. Energy is limited. Focus is limited. This means income will always hit a ceiling. No matter how hard the effort, there is a maximum that cannot be crossed. This is why so many people feel stuck. They reach a point where working more no longer creates meaningful change. The solution is not to work more. The solution is to work differently. Working differently means focusing on leverage. Leverage allows one action to produce multiple results. It allows effort to continue producing value even after the initial work is done. This is how financial growth begins to accelerate. Leverage can come in many forms. It can come from skills, systems, technology, or knowledge. When effort is combined with leverage, results begin to expand beyond the limits of time. Another reason people stay broke is because of short-term thinking. Decisions are often made based on immediate comfort rather than long-term benefit. Spending becomes easy. Saving becomes difficult. Investing feels unnecessary. Over time, these small choices shape a financial life that feels stuck. Long-term thinking changes this pattern. It creates a mindset where decisions are made with the future in mind. A person begins to ask different questions. Will this decision help growth? Will this choice create opportunity later? Will this action move life forward? These questions guide behavior in a powerful way. Another important shift is understanding the difference between consumption and creation. Consumption is easy. It requires no effort. It provides quick satisfaction, but it does not build anything. Creation requires effort. It requires learning. It requires patience. But it builds something that can grow and produce results. A life focused only on consumption will always depend on external income. A life that includes creation begins to build independence. Independence is one of the most valuable outcomes of financial growth. It removes constant pressure. It allows decisions to be made with clarity instead of fear. It creates space for better opportunities. Fear often comes from uncertainty. When there is no plan, no direction, and no control, fear becomes stronger. But when a person begins to learn, build, and improve, uncertainty decreases. Confidence grows with each step forward. Confidence does not appear suddenly. It is built through action. Each action taken, even small ones, strengthens belief. This belief makes it easier to take the next step. Over time, action becomes natural and progress becomes steady. Another powerful idea is responsibility. Taking responsibility for financial life changes everything. It removes excuses and replaces them with control. Blaming external factors creates a sense of powerlessness. Taking responsibility creates a sense of direction. When responsibility is accepted, the focus shifts to solutions. Instead of asking why things are difficult, the question becomes how to improve. This shift leads to growth. Growth requires learning. Learning creates awareness. Awareness reveals opportunities. Opportunities create movement. This cycle builds momentum. Momentum is one of the most important forces in success. Once progress begins, it becomes easier to continue. The hardest part is starting. Once movement is created, the path becomes clearer. Another key element is discipline. Discipline keeps progress moving, even when motivation is low. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline remains steady. It ensures that actions continue even when results are not immediately visible. Many people stop too early. They begin something new, expect quick results, and when results do not appear, they stop. This pattern prevents progress from ever reaching its full potential. Real growth takes time. Results often appear slowly at first. Then, as consistency continues, progress begins to accelerate. This is where patience becomes powerful. Patience allows time for growth. It allows effort to compound. It allows progress to build. Every strong financial journey is built on patience. Another reason people remain stuck is because they follow the crowd. The majority often chooses the easiest path, the safest path, the most comfortable path. But the majority also struggles financially. Following the crowd leads to average results. Thinking differently creates the possibility of extraordinary results. Thinking differently requires courage. It means questioning common beliefs. It means exploring new ideas. It means stepping outside of comfort. This is not always easy, but it is necessary for growth. A powerful mindset focuses on progress, not perfection. Waiting for the perfect moment delays action. Taking action creates learning. Learning creates improvement. Improvement builds results. Each step forward, no matter how small, contributes to a larger transformation. This transformation is not only financial, it is mental. It is behavioral. It is a complete shift in how life is approached. The fast path is not about shortcuts. It is about smart direction. It is about using time wisely. It is about creating value and building systems that can grow. It is about moving from limitation to possibility. And this shift begins in the mind. When the mind becomes clear about what needs to be done, action becomes easier. Confusion leads to hesitation, and hesitation leads to lost opportunities. Clear thinking removes doubt and replaces it with direction. Direction allows energy to be focused instead of scattered. Many people struggle not because they lack ability, but because they lack clarity. They move without a plan, react instead of prepare, and spend time without purpose. This creates a cycle where effort feels heavy but results remain small. Clarity begins with understanding the goal. Not a vague idea, but a clear vision of financial freedom. A vision that includes stability, growth, and control over time. Once the goal becomes clear, decisions begin to align naturally with that direction. Every action either moves life forward or keeps it in the same place. Time spent without intention creates stagnation. Time invested with purpose creates progress. This is why focus is so important. Focus eliminates distractions. Distractions are one of the biggest enemies of growth. They appear small and harmless, but over time, they consume hours, days, and even years. Each moment lost to distraction is a moment that could have been used to build something meaningful. A focused mind becomes powerful. It identifies priorities and commits to them. It avoids unnecessary noise and protects its energy. With focus, even simple actions become effective. Another key element is execution. Ideas have no value without action. Many people have ideas, but very few act on them consistently. Execution is what separates thinking from results. Taking action creates feedback. Feedback creates improvement. Improvement leads to better outcomes. Without action, there is no feedback, and without feedback, there is no growth. Action does not need to be perfect. It needs to be consistent. Small steps taken daily create progress that builds over time. Waiting for perfect conditions delays progress. Acting in imperfect conditions creates learning. Learning is a continuous process. Every step forward teaches something new. Every mistake reveals a better way. Growth comes from this cycle of action and learning. Another important principle is ownership. Taking full ownership of results changes everything. It removes excuses and builds responsibility. When responsibility is accepted, control increases. Control allows improvement. Blame creates weakness. Ownership creates strength. Strength allows persistence. Persistence allows progress. Progress builds confidence. Confidence strengthens action. This cycle creates momentum that continues to grow. Momentum is fragile at the beginning. It requires effort to start. But once it builds, it becomes easier to maintain. This is why consistency matters so much. Missing small actions repeatedly can break momentum. Staying consistent protects it. Energy also plays an important role. A tired mind struggles to think clearly. A focused mind requires energy. Taking care of physical and mental health improves decision-making. Better decisions lead to better results. Another powerful shift is moving from passive thinking to active thinking. Passive thinking accepts situations without question. Active thinking searches for solutions. It looks for ways to improve, to grow, and to create opportunities. Active thinking builds problem-solving ability. Problem-solving creates value. Value leads to income and growth. Money flows towards solutions. People who solve problems become valuable. Value creates opportunity. Opportunity creates progress. This is how financial growth begins to accelerate. Another important idea is adaptability. The world changes constantly. New opportunities appear. Old methods become less effective. The ability to adapt allows continuous growth. Being flexible in thinking allows quick adjustment to new situations. Rigid thinking creates limitation. Flexible thinking creates expansion. Learning new skills strengthens adaptability. Skills create options. Options create freedom. Freedom is built step by step. It begins with awareness. It grows through action. It strengthens through discipline. It expands through learning. Over time, this process transforms not only financial life, but also personal identity. The way of thinking changes. The way of acting changes. The way of living changes. This is not a temporary shift. It is a permanent transformation. A transformation that moves life from limitation to possibility, from survival to growth, and from effort alone to intelligent progress.